Hey there, Boots Owen here. 8freights. This is the kind of culmination video in the restoration of this 8freight. This one was bought through a forum online, Retro Bikes forum I think. And first of all, actually, before I get into it, it's very noisy and windy, so you'll have to bear with that. I think I'm not going to get much better on it today, and I'm out in the street. It was bought for I think 150 quid recently, and Ian Helsby at Ian Helsby Services helped me to do a bit of welding, or I helped him, or one of those things. We helped each other out by learning how to weld aluminium, and this one had about 10 joints needed welding, or 10 brakes needed welding, and since I've put a coat of awful paint on it, it's just to make it look a bit more yellow rather than burnt powder coated yellow. I've put a new chain on it. I've bodged it together out of bits I've got and whatnot, but by and large it's back to good working order now. The kickstand dropper is working, and I think it needs the wheels rebuilding, and then it's pretty much a good bike. There's a crack in this wheel here, you can see, running all the way up, so it rides, but I wouldn't want to put much weight on it. I could use a new set of tyres as well, but it is what it is. My original one's over here. That's been featured in many videos, and I'll talk about the differences between the three. This one I picked up for a couple of hundred last weekend, again through a forum. This one was more local to me, so it was easier to go and fetch. This one I think has been left out in the rain for quite a long time. It was the subject of a thread on that forum, and I might take it from there on the thread in terms of rebuilding it, because I don't think it needs much. It needs the brakes doing, and then just generally putting back together. And there's some finicky bits, but I think it's okay. I think there's no cracks in the frame or anything. A bit of a dint here, you can see, and a bend there in that bar, so it looks like it's whopped into something at some point. Not sure what. And it's got a lot of corrosion on the back wheel hub, but it's probably okay, you know. The wheel itself is probably okay. So I started off by buying that one first for I think 500 or 600 quid quite some time ago. It's done a lot of work. I've had it for a long time. I've got it configured the way I like it, the box and whatnot. It's pretty good like that, I reckon. I kind of like it basket up front. You can carry a lot of weight on it, you can carry a big load on it. It's pretty good. I'm quite fond of this bike, really. You've got that angle on the box there because your heel can clip it, and it's really painful if it does. So that's kind of your limiting thing, and you can see where on this deck here really only comes forward a little bit because it'll catch your heel otherwise and you're caught. I think the black one is the oldest of the three in terms of the I'll show you the sticker here. Oh, we lost it. The sticker here, Burrows Engineering in Norwich. Mike Burrows made some pretty cool bikes, Ratcatcher and others, but 8freight is, I don't know, the one I've got, so that's what I'm telling you about. And the reason I've got three is because I had one and I broke it, and one bike is no good. If you can't get parts for it, it's going to fall over again, I'd say, because the frame, something about this isn't quite right yet. I think that ram is dead. Well, I know the ram is dead, but I think it should be, the stand should come forward a little bit. That one's way too far forward, but this one should come forward a bit more. So I think this is the oldest one. So let's have a look at the frame here and just look at the differences. This one, the bars at the back, the stays, or what would you call them? I don't know. These stays here, these bars here, they meet here, quite a way back from there. On the other two, they meet at the front of that cargo bay. So that limits what you can plug in there in terms of a box or that, but it is what it is. This one has no other triangulation here, whereas the yellow one has this bar here. The orange one there has a load of webs of aluminium tucked in there and there and there. This one has a web, but it's only at the back down here. the bar that comes like this diagonally terminates here on this one, but on the other two, this one it goes straight across. Maybe that takes away the need for that web. And on the one I have, the orange one, the bar is bent and it goes like that, but it does carry the whole way through. Otherwise, you know, this bar is straight here or kind of in line with the frame. This one's bent off sideways, and so it is on the orange one. The front end seems to be the same, except this one has the forks on the left, this one has the forks on the right as you're riding it. I'm looking at the other way. And so the red front forks, the mono blade, is that side here, the other side. This one has 70 mils front and back. This one has 90 front, 70 back. That's the size of the drum brake. And this one has words 70 front and back. So the red, the orange bike over there and the black bike are quite similar. I think this bike started off life as a black bike because of this black paint here, and then it was sprayed up orange for whatever purpose. Whereas I think this is original with its original logo and whatnot, the same as this one. But this one went straight to a shop, and I think a few of them might have been bought on the same order. And so Toys for the Boots Owen there, it was Toys for the Big Boys, I think, is the brand or the company. So that was on there. What else can I say? This one's had, well, what I heard from the guy who sold me this is that if they ever broke, they'd go back to Norwich and they'd get bits welded onto them. So these bits may well have been welded on later, and that might explain why they're there. This one, I don't know if it's had any repairs other than what I've done. This one here has had a couple of repairs, so it's got a plate on here. You can kind of make that out. There's a plate on top there, and there's a plate in front, or a wearing plate here. And I think what was happening was the chain kept jumping off the sprocket there and hitting this fellow, and that's it digs a groove in underneath it. I don't know if you can see it there, maybe not, but it's happened to me on the orange one over here. So what I've tended to do is snap on a piece of plastic, if we can see that white piece of plastic, and it stops the chain hitting the aluminium if it pops off its roller there. So you can see the roller is in line with that hoop shaped piece of metal welded on underneath. The black one here appears to have two settings for the roller. One where the hoop is there in the center, and then this one here moved forward, which may have been put on later, I don't know. And I think this bodge up isn't original, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. There's a kind of a standard pulley there, you can barely see it underneath, but the yellow one has it. If we tip that over, the yellow one has a different chain guard, and it has this single piece of nylon pulley with the ball bearing in the center, and that's what the orange one over there has as well. So I'll have to make something similar to that. So what happened to this one here? I was going to do the bearings on the back wheel, or I was going to rebuild the back wheel, and getting it off, fractured here in the web, and it fractured here in the flange. It's very windy. It fractured here in the flange as well, and that was a bit of a disaster really. And I was a bit nervous, so I got on the forums and had a look and ended up buying two bikes. But in the meantime, before I bought them, I got this welded up, and this one's back to normal and running okay. So this gives me an opportunity to show you how this quick release the quick release stand goes. Put this back up. So there's just a gear lever here, Sunrace affair. If I pull that, this little silver fellow here will drop, and then the gas strut underneath shoots the center stand forward. That's what's happening there. This one has these things on the sides. It has these extra tubes welded on, and then it has these fellows on the sides that can be pulled out. I don't know how easy they'll come out now. Yeah, they'll come out okay. So they make the bike a good deal wider. maybe 4 or 5 inches on that side, and you can carry different cargo over the top. There should be one on this side. The bar is in the shed, but the when we were welding it, it melted the inserts, so I have to make some kind of insert sleeves there to go in there. There's a bit of plastic from one of them. Given the colour of the plastic, I reckon it might have been gas pipe that was used to make them, but it could have just been stock. Although I have a feeling, you know, if you can use an off-the-shelf part, an off-the-shelf thing from a hardware store, you'll use gas pipe and that would be easier. And I think the last thing I have to say is that the rims on this one and this one appear to be the same. Don't know what size they are. I'll say it there. 19s. But this one's got fatter rims, and they're both Alex rims, and I can't see what that says at all. Can you see that? Is that 24s or 34s? 24s, I'd say. So this one's running thinner tires on fatter rims. These two have BMX style 2.05s or something like that on their rims. I think the brakes in here have been removed because they were knackered. This thing was sat out full of water for an awful long time, so the whole back end I have to rebuild. And it's an interesting contraption, but I'll move to this one next. I think I've got that yellow one where I want it. I'm not going to do any more on it. But this one, I'll get this up and running then, and I'll have 3 bikes kind of ready for use. And if I wanted to spares one out, I could, but I probably won't do that. That's not my way. The other thing to note, I guess, if I can get this to stand up again, the handlebars on this are more of a square shape. They're not completely square, but they're kind of, they rise up and then go back. And this fellow here, what does it say? Acor City Bike. They go back at more of an angle, and they're very similar. I'd say they're the same ones with the stickers removed on this one. The other thing I noticed was he puts the right hand brake handle on upside down for some reason. So the left hand brake handle has a locking brake, or yeah, so you can snap that in there. This one has the same but with a red tab. The brake handle on this is upside down as well, which I thought was a bit bizarre. This one had a grip shift on it, but I had to get a rapid fire because that's what I had in the shed. And that's about it. I've shown a few videos of this on my channel, my bike hacks playlist, how to do the bearings and stuff like that. I've made a few videos similar to this one of commentaries on the repairs of this. None actual repairs, because just bike repairs generally. But it's the tricky things like here. On this one you've got this stainless steel fellow here holding on the derailleur. The derailleur hanger is this outrigger fellow. On this one it's cast up out of aluminium by the looks of things, which is a bit tricky, and it's loose on the frame, so this is bonded on with epoxy, and then I think this one's just bonded or something, or maybe the screws go the whole way in. This one here and the other one on the orange bike, it's bonded and then pop riveted top and bottom, which I think is a better fit, but it is what it is. The original decks are all like this. This one was rotted out and it was thinner, so I don't think it's original. The original one on this one was a 3/4 inch shuttering ply deck, same as this, held on with cable ties, and that seems to work. Whereas for this one I made it thinner because I was adding in the sides and stuff. So there you go, that's my 8freight update. Tell me about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, see you later.